mad cause he made me, I was getting high at the rent. 10K for the fit, I'm too wavy. 29, I'm rich with 3 babies. Pinky ring, the wrist cost 380, really made it. I'm the shit. Investigations, yes, I evaded. Mouth shut, you know. And I'm GDK, EBK, MBG, and LMB craze. Give me a switch to get like NCAA, nigga, I blitz. Niggas bitches, I don't appreciate it, but he switch out like he crazy. Sit the hit, I'm mad cause he made me, I was getting high at the rent. 10K for the fit, I'm too wavy. 29, I'm rich with 3 babies. Pinky ring, the wrist cost 380, really made it. I'm the shit. Investigations, yes, I evaded. Mouth shut, you know. And I'm GDK, EBK, MBG, and LMB craze. Give me a switch to get like NCAA, nigga, I blitz.
Since their run game is centered around,
just go ahead and admit you were wrong. Y'all always wrong. You're always gonna be wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I wasn't a believer in Kevin Stefanski's abilities before this tirade, this circus that he became the biggest clown of the Cleveland Browns. Because if you guys remember the history of the Cleveland Browns up until this point, I say it all the time when I cover them. I got to make this point every single time. Since 1980, they've only had 4 seasons where they won 10 games or more. Kevin Stefanski has 2 of those. Bill Belichick has the other. And then another coach that we won't even care to name has the other. That's since 1980. Now, the reason why I said Kevin Stefanski was worthy of this head coaching job is simply because he has, not simply because, but one of the reasons is because he has 2 of the seasons where they were able to win as a team, Cleveland, 10 games or more. Once with Baker Mayfield, in the second with Flacco and Mr. Diddy Jr. himself. You guys know what I'm talking about. Now, with that being said, Baker Mayfield, after suffering, listening to Hugh Jackson, Freddie Kitchens, and Greg Williams, the Cleveland Browns are terrible. They go through as many coaches before Stefanski, or they went through as many coaches as they did quarterbacks. Now, they went through a lot of quarterbacks. They went through more quarterbacks than college teams go through college quarterbacks. That's how terrible.
they don't have any
Since Super Bowl MVP actually over him. Not only that, Julian Edelman won Super Bowl MVP over him.
haven't proven anything in the playoffs. Outside of Joe Burrow randomly making it to the Super Bowl and getting exposed. But I feel like it's not.
Quarterback. We know he's not the greatest football player. That would be if anybody.
I mean, you got those running backs that
individual football player of all time. Never talk to them again in terms of.
we don't have the Derrick Henrys, the Ezekiel Elliott's, the Adrian Petersons. We don't have those guys that.
In his division, he had Buffalo, Miami, and the Jets year after year. No wonder we were seeing him in so many Super Bowls. When you got Bill Belichick, now I know a lot of people want to discredit Bill Belichick, do this, that, and the third, but I'll literally tell you this. Had it been any other head coach, Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, of that era, because I can say Cal Shanahan, Sean McVay probably would have, it is what it is. They probably would have did their thing.
Welcome everyone to Williams-Brice Stadium, home of the South Carolina Gamecocks, as we'll see the #1 team in the country, the Indiana Hoosiers.
It was Sean McVay and Cal Shanahan. But I'm talking about at that time, the head coaches that were around the league right now. Any other head coach, I don't think they would have went to that many Super Bowls. But give credit where credit. Bill Belichick is that guy. Now, Buffalo, Miami, New York. Every single year in that division, not every single year, but for the most part, the majority of the years Tom Brady was there, you could literally chalk those guys up to lose at least 7 or 8 games every year. So New England, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady literally did not have to worry about not making the playoffs because they had 3 other teams that couldn't make the playoffs consistently. Buffalo, for the whole entire time, Buffalo, Miami, New York never had 3 straight seasons where they won 10+ games with Tom Brady. So, it is what it is. Now, get back to my Cleveland. This year's draft for the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion, I gotta say this. They look at their offense through the eyes of blindness. They can't see. But when it comes to their defense, they got some. They hit more on defense than they do on offense, and that's not a good thing. But because when you hit more on one side of the ball versus the other, that lets people know you don't know how to build a team. And we don't need to see more. We've been seeing this since the 80s. They've been losing longer than I've been alive. So have the Cincinnati, but no, I can't say that because they just went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So I would be crazy to say that. The Dallas Cowboys. And when I look at the Cleveland Browns, you don't have the luxury to play with. Well, I guess you do because your fans are going to allow you that luxury. The fans have been allowing them the luxury to do this every year because they haven't been doing enough of calling out the people that are the head honchos of their organization. They haven't been doing enough to call out Tommy Reese. Jim Schwartz is the only person that you can't call out. Now, I know it's probably because of Myles Garrett going on the run that he's going on. That's making Jim Schwartz look like he needs to be elevated to head coach. But let's not forget, Jim Schwartz was the head coach of the atrocious Detroit Lions. Not only that, he had Matt Stafford and Megatron and did nothing with those Hall of Fame caliber players. Not only that, Megatron was so Hall of Fame worthy that this man didn't even have to play 11 years in the league to get to the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame induction committee couldn't wait until he retired to draft him into to bring him to camp. That's how good he was. And every year, the Detroit Lions with Jim Schwartz as the head coach were trash. They were terrible. Rob Marinelli went 0-16 a year before he went 2-14. Then he goes 6-10. You think, oh, they probably got some here. Then he goes 10-6. You saying, oh, goodness, head coach that can actually. No. They had Matt Stafford and Megatron, which made him look good. 4-12, 7-9. Then he gets fired and Jim Caldwell comes in. You're thinking, oh man, Jim Caldwell. No, Matt Stafford and Megatron. Going full circle in this thing. Shedeur Sanders. Y'all don't have no time to be playing like this, man. But I get it. You thinking, oh, we gonna draft a college quarterback. And I've already looked at the numbers. Every possible college quarterback in their performance this year. I don't care if Mendoza or Julian Sane goes on a college football championship. Now, if one of these players go on and win Heisman on top of the college football championship, then I would say, you know what? He's a better individual player than Shedeur Sanders. I'll give you. But you got to take a couple of more steps back and look at it and ask yourself, has Shedeur Sanders got all of the opportunities that these other quarterbacks got, like an Indiana, like a Georgia, like a Ohio State, even Oregon, instead of a Colorado? If he had a bigger platform, we probably would have seen him win a Heisman. Because those numbers at Colorado, that I'm just talking about solely last season, 4,000 yards, what do you have, like 36 touchdowns and 10 interceptions or something like that? You translate that info or those stats to any of these big schools, and now we're talking about a different player going into the draft for this year. You put Shedeur, Ohio, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame, BYU, Texas, Vanderbilt. You put him on any of those schools with the numbers that he put up last year, give him his same elite wide receivers, though. I want to say that. I want to make a point of that. Give him Travis Hunter in combo, because you guys got to understand, wherever Travis Hunter went, Shedeur Sanders went as well. Can you imagine that duo in Ohio, in Indiana, in Georgia? We would have literally saw Shedeur Sanders probably go number 1 over Travis Hunter, but both of them would have went number 1 and number 2 respectively. Literally. Had they played for any other school outside of Oregon or Colorado. Not only that, a lot of y'all forget the fact that Dylan, and I'm saying his name with capital L's and all lowercase letters for the other letters. Dylan Gabriel played 6 years, 6 seasons in college. Now, the cutoff for me in terms of stats is 4 years. Dylan Gabriel is recognized by some to have the most passing touchdowns for a career. If you take 2 seasons off his career, that's 60 touchdowns, 2023, 2024. Take that 60 away from that 155, and you get 95 total touchdowns in 4 seasons. But for the simple fact that you played 6 years, they give it to him, which is insane. UCF for 3 seasons, Oklahoma for 2 seasons, and then you go to Oregon. First off, why are you playing for so many different teams? It's insane, the disrespect that Shedeur Sanders is getting in favor of. And this all goes back to who his father is, because I don't know how a player like Shedeur Sanders gets this much disrespect between people who claim to be football fans and then the media on top of that. I didn't remember growing up realizing how Deion Sanders was viewed in terms of the media. It never came across as, I'm trying to liken this, I'm trying to give an example of the media hating the player so much just because of the way he carries himself as flashy. I don't even remember Muhammad Ali being hated this much. He was kind of like the same in terms of being flamboyantly rambunctious, having this flamboyantly rambunctious view of himself that rubbed others the wrong way. Now, it's only one demographic that is the common denominator for me in terms of every time I go to the comment section and I look at the hate-filled comment of Shedeur, you click on the profile, whatever platform you're on, it's always the same demographic of people, and they literally all look the same. Very rarely I'll see a feed, click on the female password, not password, wish I had a password so I could hack their account, but very rarely would you click on a comment under Shedeur on a platform where the platform is using Shedeur for, clout. Very rarely when you click on that profile and it's a woman of that demographic that I'm speaking of. Now, you guys probably ask yourself, hey, Bravo 85 South, say the demographic. What you gonna call it the demographic? I don't need to. Because you can literally do it yourself. You can literally go to, just type in Shedeur Sanders on a social media platform. Don't Google it because you won't see comment feeds. I mean, you probably can, but just go to any platform, any social media platform, any sports platform that allows comments and has profiles, because there's some sports platforms out there like The Score, they allow comments, but allow people to be anonymous. And it's the same demographic. And then you got the other demographic that is in support of it. But I can't really say it's only one demographic that is in support of it. But I'll say the majority of the demographic that is trying to somewhat express their disdain for their own life, trying to ruin someone else's. It's the same demographic. But the ones that support, it's a mix of all different types of demographics when you click on the profiles. And then you click on a certain profile and they're not the same demographic as I am. And I'm saying to myself, you know what? I see what's going on here, man. It's only one demographic. I never see Asians, Hispanics. Oh, no, I take that back. Because on one platform, I see the Latin. I take it back. I'm just going to stand on what I just stood on. I'm going to stand on what I just stated. And you guys take a look for yourself. There's only one demographic that has the majority of hate spewing for Shedeur. And then it's the other demographics that are just so rambunctiously random that come together in support of Shedeur. That also features certain people or certain ones that look like the ones in that demographic that majority try to discredit and disrespect Shedeur. I spent way too much time on that, but it is what it is. We gotta make that point clear because I see it, and it's not a coincidence because I see it with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. It's stupid because they say at one point keep politics out of it, and they love pulling politics over towards it. They say on one hand keep politics out of it, but they pull politics into it. If you want to keep it just sports, keep it just sports. Because at this point in time, the only thing that they say is Shedeur is a 5th round pick. Okay, if that's the case, why is it that every time I get on a social media platform on Sunday, Shedeur Sanders is the headline before he was even a starter, but he's a 5th round pick. I'm trying to figure out where are the Tennessee Titans right now with the number 1 overall pick. I'm trying to figure it out. I can't. It's insane to me. Tennessee, Jacksonville. I'm hearing a lot of Abdul Carter here and there, but it's more so of his attitude, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's not his performance on the field that's before I say that. Yeah, it's more, yeah. I was right. I knew I wasn't tripping. It's more of what, not of his production on the field. He's a child in a grown man's body. That's what he is. Probably because he played at Penn State. He's supposed to be the second coming of what's the guy? Dang it, what's the guy that played at Penn State? He's with the Green Bay Packers right now. Parsons. He's supposed to be the second coming of Michael Parsons coming out of Penn State. But this man being the second coming of Johnny Manziel, Will Campbell, Mason Graham, Ashton Genty, T-Mac, Tutorial McMillan. Y'all remember him. He was the highest performing individual wide receiver last year. Kelvin Banks, Colston, all these draft picks before Shedeur. And Shedeur literally has the most topics out of any draft pick this year. Across all sports platforms combined. I would literally say this with 100% confidence that Shedeur Sanders probably has the most videos of sports platforms covering him. He has the most topics of all sports platforms written about him. And he has the most views out of every single draft pick in the 2025 draft combined. I would literally say that with 100% confidence. I bet 6,500. And I don't bet. I'm not a betting man, but I would if somebody, want to bet 6,500. That if you were to literally count up all of the topics, views, discussions, the comments, all traffic, whatever the case may be, the jersey sales, the searches, everything that surrounds Shedeur Sanders' name, if you count it all up, from the time he was drafted up until now, and you combine that totality, and you put it up against every draft pick in his same draft, and you combine those, his numbers will outweigh the whole entire draft. I'm telling you. That's how polarizing Shedeur Sanders is. And I don't know how, but I got a feeling it's because of Deion Sanders. I got a feeling that's all it could be, man. Because it's only one demographic that solely hates this man. Literally hate him for no reason. But they talk about him every chance they get. They comment every chance they get. If you are like me, anytime I'm on a specific platform and I see a video that I don't like, I go to the comment section. And if I even get the urge to comment, first off, if the topic in the video is supremely idiotic, you know what I do? I go to the profile, the 3 little dot thing, and I hit block. So I never see their content on my profile page again. That's how easy it is. But some people can't get over that simple urge. They have no self-control. You skip it, to block it, to not even indulge it. Now there'll be sometimes where you can because you got the time. But if you're spending every single minute, day, hour thinking about this kid, anytime you pick up your phone and you go to any social media platform, that's the first thing you do. Instead of just spending that time blocking the profile, blocking the topic, hitting not interested, you really love the person. Because you guys gotta understand. I cover a lot of sports. I see Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark's political idiots banging back and forth, to the Jordan, Kobe, LeBron debate, to Tom Brady's GOAT debate. I see it all. You know for sure I am blocked, not interested. I'll comment from time to time. If the post is logically trying to, garner some true, authentic, genuine responses, then I will respond. But if I know for a fact that person is making this account to troll, and you can actually go, because when somebody makes any type of quote unquote sports content and they trying to get traction to their page, you look at the caption, you look at just, I'll throw out an example. Somebody say, "Ooh, look at this. Caitlin Clark has made the NBA so popular, the WNBA so popular, it's going to make the NBA not be viewed as much. She's had 5 million viewers. Look at the WNBA." Then you go to the profile and you see it's all Caitlin Clark content, and you see is them clowning Angel Reese. You see them clowning the WNBA. Then you know for a fact it's not organic, it's not genuine, it's bot related. So what do? Block. Easy. Because they got me. It's literally what happens. You will like a player, but people then start to gravitate towards that player eventually start to hate that play. The same thing. I never disliked Caitlin Reese until I started seeing this stuff about her versus Angel Reese. And then I had to come back to reality and say, hey, I was a fan of Caitlin Clark when she was hitting those threes like Steph Curry in college. I love to see that. I was like, man, she's making the game exciting. And I'm looking at Angel Reese and I'm saying, Angel Reese is making females come to the realization that, hey, we can bang down low. We can do it. And then they go to the WNBA and I'm thinking to myself, hey, why am I siding more with Angel Reese than Caitlin Clark? Then I had to take a couple steps back and I said, it's the influence. You will literally get sucked into this black spherical hole and not even realize it. And I gotta say, dang, I support Caitlin. I support Angel Reese. I love Clayton Clark when she was at Iowa. I love Angel Reese when she was at LSU. Didn't see much of her at Maryland. And then all of a sudden, I'm starting to dislike Caitlin Clark. And I never did that before because of the demographic that is using her as a shield to punch and hide behind, punch Angel Reese and hide behind her. I was like, can't let that happen. So I started blocking those pages, started saying not interested, because they were literally morphing my view of her because of the way they were commenting about her and knocking the WNBA and knocking Angel Reese. That'll happen because it's happening right now with me and Nikola Jokic. Literally right now. I'm trying to fight that urge, but it's kind of hard because Jokic is not with the triple doubles and the way that people are, elevating him as, we never seen this before. As we didn't have Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook, and then they said, oh yeah, they did it, but they weren't big men. It's crazy. But back to I said, I spent way too much time on that, but it's crazy. Dylan Brooks. Stop hating Dylan Brooks. Everywhere he goes, he just turns teams. He damn leaves. Back to the point. We gotta start coming to the realization that Shedeur Sanders is the answer for the Cleveland Browns. Now, I'm not going to say I'll say that he's the short-term answer because long-term answer cannot be proven in such a short time. Now, we got a good sample size of what could be of Shedeur. If he's given a competent head coach, let me tell you something. As Shedeur Sanders went to Pittsburgh, we were literally talking about Pittsburgh possibly being the wild in the playoffs. Pittsburgh would not be 76 right now. Indianapolis, Detroit. I'm just going down all the list of teams that need a quarterback that could have drafted Shedeur the way. The Giants. We saw how well they were playing with Scatterboard. They could have, had he not been injured, I think they could have more wins than they have right now. The Saints could be well on their way. The Arizona Cardinals could be well on their way. The Jets, say what you want about the Jets. I think they have a great head coach in place. Cincinnati already has a quarterback. The Atlanta Falcons, literally, come on. Michael Penix Jr. is not taking the Falcons anywhere anytime soon. I don't care how well he plays. He will never be an all-pro caliber quarterback. He will never make a Pro Bowl. I'm saying that right now. I'm saying it again next season. The Minnesota Vikings. Woo-hoo. J.J. McCartney over Sam Darnold. Dare I say it, but Sam Darnold was the better option. The Dallas Cowboys could be well on the way. Dak Prescott is never going to get y'all to a Super Bowl. They're 6-6 struggling, but it is what it is. They are the Lions. They have a winning record. Same record as the Eagles. I can't say they have a winning record. That would be stupid to say. But in case, the point is, they were at home against the Eagles and the Chiefs. They didn't go on the road. They snapped back to reality. Now, let me tell you this. All you Cowboy fans out there, out of all of the road games that they played this year, they've lost every one except at the Raiders. That should tell you everything you need to know about the Dallas Cowboys. Y'all need Shedeur Sanders, but I can guarantee you, they went on the road against the Eagles with Shedeur, they would have won that game. Open the game this season. They go on the road against the Bears, they would have won that with Shedeur as the quarterback. Now, my bad. They went on the road against the Jets and the Raiders this year. Those are the only two victories that they got. On the road against the Eagles, lost. Bears, lost. Panthers, you lose to the Panthers on the road? Stop it. So stop it. Every single year, it's the same thing with the Cowboys fans. Man, y'all idiots. Y'all worse than delusional Kobe fans, delusional Bron fans, delusional Jordan fans. Y'all worse than them. Y'all number one. The most delusional fans in the history of sports. Cristiano Ronaldo thinking Messi is not better than Ronaldo. Ronaldo is better than Messi. Y'all crazy. Once Messi won that World Cup, that solidified him as better than Ronaldo. As if the majority of people didn't even know. The only reason why people view Ronaldo better than Messi is because he's taller. Let's be real. If Messi was the same height as Ronaldo, nobody would be saying Ronaldo is better. Ronaldo fans, delusional. Kobe fans, Jordan fans, LeBron fans, Dallas fans. And I know some other teams out there that got delusional fan bases, but I'm only talking about the majority of the sports that I watch. Football, basketball, football, aka soccer. So those are the only fan bases I can speak on. I don't watch much baseball. I don't watch much hockey. I don't watch much tennis. So don't expect me to. Oh yeah, WNBA fans, Angel Reese fans, and Caitlin Clark. Y'all are the new entries to the most delusional. Both sides. I'm calling out both sides. Now back to my point, Shedeur Sanders, and where he could have fit. Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, even Carolina would have been doing. Come on, man, because you got Jimmy Horn Jr. Jacksonville, upgrade. Yes, Trevor Lawrence is fooling y'all, just like Dak Prescott. Because when it's time, so this little stretch that he on, Chargers, Cardinals, Titans, Colts, Jets, Broncos. This little run that they on, it looks all. It looks. I'm waiting to the playoffs. For teams like that, I'm waiting to the playoffs to say anything, to solidify them as anything. I'm waiting to the playoffs for the Broncos, Patriots, Seahawks, Packers, Jacksonville. It's a lot of teams that are waiting on the playoffs for us to really see whether or not. And it ain't just this playoffs. I need to see next year. I need to see at least three times before I can solidify any team as anything. You had to wait that long for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They won 3 Super Bowls. So for any other body that wants to try to surpass Patrick Mahomes, any other quarterback that wants to try to surpass Patrick Mahomes as good or equivalent to his skill set, I got to see it at least 3 times. And you got to win at least 2 Super Bowls. So Shedeur Sanders, man, like I say, I know where the hate stems from. I know where the dislike stems from. And you don't have to tell me. And it's not about his skill, because if we talking about skill, Shedeur Sanders last year, when he was with the Colorado Buffaloes, if I'm not mistaken, let me go ahead and say this, because we're going to be coming back to this countless of times, because a lot of people try to discredit the boy, disrespect the boy like he ain't really like that. When he really like that. I know he like that because I've seen him. He was like that. Now, for his career, he has the in history. Now it's ironic that got the quote-unquote leader in college football in total passing touchdowns, Dylan Gabriel, with capital L's in first and last name and lowercase letters for every other alphabet in his name. 155 total passing touchdowns for Dylan Gabriel in his 6-year career, which the cutoff should have been 4 years, and it is for me, so I don't even recognize that, but for the simple fact that it is recognized by the people who matters to. Then you got the leader in completion percentage for his career, 71 for his career. No other player has more in their career. That is Shedeur Sanders. All-time career leader in completion percentage. Colorado. Last season, 4,134 passing yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He increased his completion percentage. Let me tell you everything he increased from year 1 to year 2 with Colorado. He increased the games, the completion percentage, the attempts, the passing completions, the passing attempts, the passing completion percentage, passing yards, passing touchdowns, touchdown percentage, interception percentage, yards, attempt, average, yard, attempt, yard, catch for his receivers, yards per game, passer rating, and his awards. Across the board, increase everything from year 1 to year 2. Leads the nation historically in completion percentage by a quarterback. And yet and still was drafted in the 5th round. Behind a quarterback. For that matter, let's see. All of the quarterbacks that were drafted before Shedeur. Because I know the haters love to say this. If he was good, only the idiots would say that. So, Cam Ward was number 1. Hold up. No, I don't like that. So, every quarterback that was drafted before Shedeur Sanders, you got Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shaw, Jalen Miro, Dylan Gabriel. Come on, man. And the ones drafted after him, Cal McCord, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Graham Mertz, Tommy Mellott, Cam Miller, Curtis Rourke, Quinn Ewers, the Archie Manning Boatman. It's insane. Cam Moore, not even up for offensive rookie year. Jackson Dart, not even up for offensive rookie year. Tyler Short hasn't even played. Tyler Shaw, he got beat out by a trash, even worse quarterback than he is. So much so that the Saints said, you know what, we're going to flank out on this season in hopes to get another quarterback in next year's draft. Crazy. Jalen Miro hasn't played a single snap worthy of being recognized as a start. Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel's so bad. His wife has just ruined his girlfriend, his significant other just ruined, because no wife is saying anything equivalent to what no wife is going to do that to their husband. And no, they only have one opportunity, because once Dylan Gabriel leaves Cleveland, what team out there is going to sign him? Which team? Can you name a team that's going to sign him and actually develop him into a starting caliber quarterback? He went 1-5. Granted, Shedeur Sanders is 1-2 right now in his start as a. You know what? At no point did I watch Dylan Gabriel and say he has the ability. He has it. Just needs time. Now you could say I was watching because I wanted to see him fail. You could say all the stupid stuff that you see other people saying on the comment section about Dylan Gabriel. No, I saw Dylan Gabriel in college have to play 6 years. Now, y'all want to say college doesn't translate to the NFL? College doesn't, but it shows you the players that are talented enough to at least get an opportunity to make an impact in the NFL. Dylan Gabriel did not say that at all in college. How do you, as a college quarterback, correct, of the Oregon Ducks, one of the most prestigious schools in the history of college football, to attend? They go 13-1 this year. 13-1. 13-1 actually in 2024. I'm sorry, my bad. They went 11-1 this year. How do you win less games? How do you play less? That's crazy. 2024 they go 13-1, right? Lost in the Rose Bowl against Ohio State. Not only did they lose, they lost to the champions, of course, but they got obliterated. Obliterated. Notre Dame scored more points than y'all, so that's telling me Notre Dame could have knocked y'all out of the... Stop it. Stop it, people. Dylan Gabriel is not like that. 13-1 with Dylan Gabriel. 444. This was the same year Shedeur Sanders played, right? 30 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Shedeur Sanders. Let's compare stats in college, because y'all want to say, oh, he was a third-round quarterback. Oh, my God. Shedeur Sanders was a fifth-round cornerback. That demographic loves saying that. They love saying that. So we're gonna see. Shedeur Sanders goes 7-2 in conference, 9-4 overall. Oregon goes 9-0 in their conference, 13-1 overall. Lost in the Alamo Bowl, 36-14. And that was in their bowl game. Ducks lost 41-21. So they gave up more points to Ohio State than Colorado did to a better team in BYU. So much so that this year BYU is in the college football playoffs. Last year it was in a bowl game. So they improved this year. No, my bad. I don't think they're in a bowl game. I think they're in a bowl game. They could have been in the championship college football playoffs, but they lost. They lost their college champ. They lost the conference championship, which took them out of the top 12, if I'm not mistaken. They could have made it. You know what? Let me do this, because I'm tweaking over here trying to make this point. I'm saying I'm just getting all discombobulated because it's making me mad, man. Let's see. This year. I got to see this year. Because I remember they lost. I think I was watching this Saturday. They lost to somebody. Yeah, they lost to Texas Tech. 7-34. They were ranked 11th at the moment when they lost to the 5th best team in the nation. And right now, what are we looking at? We're looking at trying to see what we're looking at right now in terms of the college football playoffs. I don't think BYU is in. I think one what's that team? James Madison. I got James Madison and BYU mixed up. That's what happened. And James Madison, in my opinion, is gonna get obliterated by Oregon. That's insane. I'm not even sure how they made the college football playoffs. At some point, I understand you want to get every team a fighting chance, but if we gonna sit here and say resume matters, but then again, you putting in a team like James Madison, who got one loss on their record, and it was to Louisville, and the only team they haven't played anybody. Okay, keep it like that, I guess, because you don't want to saturate, not saturate, but the word that I'm looking for is you don't want to make other teams feel like, hey, if we play our best and put our best performance forward, we won't get recognized as one of the top teams. But Texas lost 3 times. Vanderbilt is one of the teams that I would have liked to see in over James Madison. But I guess you can leave it at James Madison. But we don't need to see every year a team get a free ride to. Let me get back on point, man, because this just made me get all off topic. So what I want to do is Shedeur Sanders versus Dylan Gabriel. And it's got to be the same year. I want to do the same year. Yeah, it's the same year. So Shedeur Sanders went 477, 353. Completions and attempts, respectively. 326, 447. Shedeur Sanders' season totals indicates player-led FBS Division 1A or equivalent. He led in completions, attempts, completion percentage, yards, touchdowns, etc., 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 etc. 168 passer rating. Bowl season totals indicate player-led conference, which is irrelevant for Dylan Gabriel. We're talking about leading the nation. Shedeur Sanders led the nation out of all the quarterbacks in completions, attempts, percentage, yards, touchdowns, yards gained per pass attempts, adjusted yards gained per pass attempts, yard gained per pass completion. He did not lead the nation. Yards gained per game, and passer efficiency rating, which formulates yards, touchdowns, minus interceptions, plus completions divided by attempts. And he finished 8th in the Heisman. Dylan Gabriel finished 3rd, which is blasphemous. It's blasphemous. How do you finish 8th when you lead the nation in how many categories we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Out of 13 categories based off this platform, he led the nation out of 13. He didn't lead the nation out of 13. Out of 13 categories, he didn't lead in 1, 2, 3, 4 categories out of 13. But he finished 8th in Heisman behind Tyler Warren, who's a good tight end for the Colts right now, Bryson Daly, Cameron Scatterbull, Cameron Ward, Dylan Gabriel, Ashton Tinty, and Travis Hunter. The only players on this list that he should have not been in front of is Travis Hunter and Ashton Tinty. What are we talking about here? This man finished behind Dylan Gabriel, who had 30 touchdowns, 7 less touchdowns, 4 less interceptions than Shedeur Sanders. Not only that, this was Shedeur Sanders' 2nd year in Division I. Jackson State counts as college, but that's like a step below Division I a little bit, but it counts as Division I. If y'all get what I'm saying, you don't get what I'm saying. I know it's an HBCU. We all for it. HBCUs, hurrah, hurrah. I respect that. But let's be real. Colorado was it's different. It's like being a cook, a line cook at a fast food restaurant versus being a sous chef at a 5-star Michelin restaurant. That's what it's like. HBCU versus a really Power 5 school, I guess you would say. Any school that's in one of the big conferences, Power 5. Colorado is in the Power 5 conference. So, full circle, man. Get back to the nitty-gritty of this topic and why I started to talk about this. It's simply because we all see Shedeur Sanders getting the short end of the stick. And whether you want to agree with it or not, it's up to you. But me personally, this segment is done. Now, the Cleveland Browns since 1980 have been the most idiotic franchise in the history of sports across all genres. Like, I say this every time I talk about the Cleveland Browns. Since 1980, they've only won 4 times, 10 games in that span. Since 1980, 4 times, you've only been able to win 10 games, and 2 of those are coming from Kevin Stefanski. Now, I know a lot of people want to see Kevin Stefanski fired, and I'm with you. I'm on that train. I want to see him fired too. But I'm going to tell you guys, if Kevin Stefanski can avoid this simply by going all in with Shedeur Sanders. The last time we saw Kevin Stefanski with some competent quarterbacks, he won Coach of the Year. That's not nothing that you can just look at and say, nah, we're not. Coach of the Year is Coach of the Year. You can't discredit that award just because a head coach isn't doing what you want him to do. And I'm not going to be one of those people, because then I'll be just as naive and idiotic as the demographic that is disrespecting Shedeur. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I wasn't in favor of Kevin Stefanski being a head coach of the Cleveland Browns when I seen him win 11 games. The first time since the coach before Bill Belichick, if I'm not mistaken, won 10 games. 11-5 with Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's first year with Kevin Stefanski got a lot of people interested in what the Browns were trying to do. And then they saw Diddy Jr. doing what he was doing with those massage therapists. And it was like, no, we got to add that to our organization. We love that type of stuff. And it's been downhill ever since then. Then you make another mistake this year in drafting 2 quarterbacks when you literally could have drafted Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel in the first round and literally built around those guys. Now, you want to say, I would say, reaching for Mason Graham at that 5th overall pick, and he's not up for defensive rookie of the year. I was going to say defensive offensive rookie. What the heck is that? He's not even up for defensive rookie of the year right now. He's not even up for a Pro Bowl. He's not even up for All Pro. And he's playing literally right next to the second best defensive player in the league since Aaron Donald. We never seen TJ Watt creep up on Michael Strahan's single season sack record. We never seen him do that. But we seen Myles Garrett do it. Not only that, he got one of the worst teams. This team only got 3 wins, and they got the second best defense in the league. 3 wins. But that's the fault. That's to the fault of the Cleveland Browns. You guys saw that last game Shedeur Sanders played against the Tennessee Titans. That's the Shedeur Sanders that you could have got if you would have just said, we going Shedeur, nobody else. Granted, I don't know what these narratives came from that Shedeur Sanders went into these interviews and started to do. Because if that was so true, we would literally have proof of that. We got proof of everything else. Anything that NFL wants to get proof of, they can get proof of. Why haven't we seen one team, one legit source come out and say word for word what Shedeur Sanders did in those interviews to rub teams the wrong way? And if he rubbed teams the wrong way so much, why was he drafted? A lot don't care who tell it, as long as it get told. That's what the OGs always say, don't it? 3-10. This team could literally be 10-3 right now. Had they started and molded the playbook, started Shedeur Sanders and molded the playbook around his skill set. Not only that, you're down, if I'm not mistaken, it was like 29-31, right? Go to the end zone, score a touchdown with Shedeur, could win the game. And we saw this a couple of games ago when Shedeur Sanders drives the team down to the red zone. Kevin Stefanski pulls out, I think it was against the Raiders, he pulls out the Wildcat offense, and they score. He's done it a couple of times this season. He's the only coach, the only team that I've seen do that this year. Pull out the wild card. Wildcat offense. Why do I keep saying wild card? It's like a wild card. So wild card offense, wildcat offense. But he's the only coach, and they're the only team that I've seen do that with my own eyes this year. Not once, but 3 times I've seen him do that. He did it twice against the Raiders, and he did it once to lose the game against the Tennessee Titans. The very game that could have set the world ablaze in terms of talking about Shedeur Sanders. Can you imagine the articles that we would have got Monday morning? Shedeur Sanders knocks off, outperforms the #1 overall pick, the Tennessee Titans. I don't want to hear nothing about the Raiders being the Raiders, because the Cleveland Browns are just as atrocious as the Raiders and the Titans are, if not worse. But the only reason why we're not going to say they're worse is because of Myles Garrett in the defense of the Cleveland Browns. That's the only reason. Now, a lot of people want to say the Raiders had to go up against the Cleveland Browns defense. The Titans had to go up against the Cleveland Browns defense. Cam Ward and the Titans have been playing trash all season. It don't matter if they went up against the Raiders. It's been terrible all year. But can you imagine if Kevin Stefanski doesn't pull out the Wildcat offense and let Shedeur Sanders do a play-action pass, roll out to his dominant throwing? Ooh. Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns, I know what they're doing. They're tanking. For who they're tanking for, it's going to reset them even more. Now, Shedeur Sanders today needs to play Sunday. He needs to play like you've never seen him play before. Because, Shedeur, at this point, you got to put together some good games. We can't just see you come out one week and play like you did against the Raiders, and then next week come out and play like you did for the San Francisco 49 against the San Francisco. Then last week come out and play like you did against the Titans, and this week play like you're gonna play against. We got to see some consistency, man. We can't see you. I know it's the Bears. I know it's gonna be freezing. The Bills are coming into town. The Steelers are coming into town. But you gotta know that this is the division you're in, buddy. You got Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. For the next couple of years, we can see Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns duke it out with Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. We can actually see that. Because Cincinnati is not going to be good anytime soon. Pittsburgh is not going to be good anytime soon because they're on the verge of firing their head coach. They don't have a quarterback. It's a lot of teams that closed their own championship window. Pittsburgh literally closed it by passing on Shedeur Sanders. The Dolphins closed theirs by passing on Shedeur Sanders. So every team in the league for 4 straight rounds passed on that could have opened a championship window that was peeking through it. They literally closed it themselves. Giants, Titans, Vegas, New Orleans, Arizona, New York, Jets, Minnesota, Miami, even Dallas. Dak Prescott is not the answer. Tony Romo. At this point in time, can we say Tony Romo was better than Dak Prescott? Who would you rather have at this point in time? Tony Romo or Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Tony Romo, Dez Bryant. They're pretty even to me, buddy. And let's not forget, the offensive line for Dak Prescott was light years better than the offensive lines that Tony Romo had. And they were still able to at least be a little bit competent, even with the incompetent owner in Jerry Jones, which is crazy. Pittsburgh, Carolina, Tampa, even. At this point in time, Baker Mayfield is Baker Mayfield, man. I would even say Baker Mayfield fits better with Kevin Stefanski. I mean, he won the most games that he's ever won in his career with Kevin Stefanski. Am I wrong, or did he get to 11 wins with Tampa? I don't know. It is what it is. Indianapolis. It would be good to have a quarterback that can step in to keep your 8-5 season afloat right now, wouldn't it? Detroit is already locked up with a mediocre, underachieving Jared Goff. There's no coincidence that you go to the Super Bowl, that is Sean McVay in the Los Angeles Rams, with Jared Goff, and you lose. You trade him for Matt Stafford, go to the Super Bowl, and you win. It's no coincidence. Jared Goff is not the answer. He's never going to be. Houston already has their quarterback. Philly right now, if you go away from Jalen Hurts, who do you have to throw the ball? Nobody. So you're stuck. You should have drafted Shedeur. Say what you want. A rookie can't say no to a team that's drafting him unless you're Eli Manning and you got that type of privilege. It doesn't come for everybody. But can you imagine if Philly does what they did when Carson Wentz went down with Nick Foles? They just go on that crazy run and win a Super Bowl. It would be nice to have that, ironically, with two black quarterbacks, like you did with two white quarterbacks. Jalen Hurts bench in favor of rookie Shedeur Sanders. They didn't go on this miraculous run, win another Super Bowl. Oh man! Now you trade Jalen Hurts, but I don't think you can do that because you just signed him to $253 billion. It is what it is. That scenario would have been sweet. The Chicago Bears, I think they're solid right now with what they're doing. And it's no coincidence that that coaching tree that the Detroit Lions decided to plant, and it just sprung up. Two head coaches that have two different trajectories, and now it's going to come back to don't bring race into it, but we got to bring race into it, because right now it's looking like it's a race to not bring race into what we need to bring race into. Now you go back to the 2024 Detroit Lions. You wonder why they lost in the divisional round? Look at who's the quarterback. Look at who was the quarterback. Had they had Matt Stafford, we probably would have been talking about the Detroit Lions as the Super Bowl champions. Literally. 15-2, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson versus Aaron Glenn. Ben Johnson as the head coach, once the offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, who ironically you let your defensive coordinator go and your offensive coordinator go for better head, quote unquote, better opportunities. Instead of paying them whatever the amount of money that they asked for to try to run it back, or just try to call them up and say, hey, let's run it back to see if we actually can do this and prove to the world that Jared Goff is not who people think he is. Which the Rams already came to their realization, and the Detroit Lions are quickly coming to their realization. Ben Johnson then goes to head coach, to be the head coach, actually, of the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears, you wonder, what is their record this season? 9-4. 9-4. They're 9-4. They're 9-4. The Chicago Bears, you wonder, where were they last year or the year before that? 5-12 with Thomas Brown and Matt Eberflus. 7-10 with Matt Eberflus. 3-14 with Matt Eberflus. Matt Nagy. They have some type of infatuation with coaches with the first name Matt. Just know that before Ben Johnson, the Chicago Bears were the laughing stock of the league. Then we go to the defensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions, Aaron Glenn, the black quarterback who everybody want to talk about. DEI, I get it. I'm the black quarterback. I'm being black head coach, but I get it. It's the Jets. Boy, are we gonna sit here and play like the Chicago Bears weren't as worse as the Jets? But I get it. One has a quarterback that in college, when people want to say college skill can translate to the NFL, yes, it can. Because if you look at who the quarterback is of the Chicago Bears this year, and you look where he was drafted, if I'm not mistaken, a season ago, Caleb Williams, in the 2024 draft went first overall. Then you go and try to compare the New York Jets quarterback situation as if the quarterback is the end-all, be-all for a team. If that was the case, we would see a lot of quarterbacks who are elite do some amazing things with atrocious teams, but it doesn't work that way. You got Justin Fields, first round left. Now everybody want to say Justin Fields can't read the defense. He can't do this. He can't throw. He can't do that. If you know that, why sign the man? Why sign the man? In hopes of panning out. The only reason why he's in the NFL is because he played at Ohio State. Let's keep it a buck. Caleb Williams, on the other hand, in my opinion, he played at Oklahoma, played at USC, but he also proved that, hey, if you look at Justin Fields, had Justin Fields stayed at Georgia, but this is a testament to Kirby Smart, and I don't know why, but he should have stayed at Georgia, in my opinion. He didn't stay at Georgia. It is what it is. He still got drafted. He still was able to play at in the college levels, on the college ranking. Ironically, he played for Chicago. You mean to tell me Ben Johnson is a better head coach than Joe Fox, or whatever his name is, Matt Nagy and Matt Eberflus, and Caleb Williams gets Ben Johnson, and Ben Johnson's first year with Caleb Williams has Caleb Williams looking like a competent quarterback, a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. That's what I'm gonna say. Justin Fields couldn't even do that. So it's a talent gap between Caleb Williams and Justin Fields. Let's be correct here. I don't want to hear anything because this is his second year in the league. You saw the turmoil he went through last year. Justin Fields, same organization, same turmoil, did not pan out. It's levels to this. Mentally, you got to be prepared for this. And Justin Fields is showing he's prepared for this. Back to the DEI conversation. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, is not better than Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator, as a head coach. I'm not going to sit here and play like we can't compare the Jets being atrociously bad historically, just like the Chicago Bears. They, for the past 10 seasons, you can count them up to lose at least 10 games or more. That is the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets. Not only that, you get a player who's been in the league a lot longer at your quarterback position. Not only that, you got Tyrod Taylor, who's a journeyman, but still can. It's crazy, man. So I don't want to hear anything about black coaches, white head coaches. I don't want to hear any of that. I don't want to hear any of that. Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn went to two atrociously terrible organizations. Aaron Glenn had the better opportunity, in my opinion, because you got the Jets who had Sauce Gardner. You got, I don't know, maybe I'm not looking at this through the lens of the fans, because the Jets, what we say, the defense is better, the offense is better. How? I don't have the numbers to back it up, but all I can see is what I see. Aaron Glenn, in my opinion, could I say he had the better opportunity with the Jets organization in terms of the team that was already available, or you want to give him 2 to 3 years to see if he can turn the thing around? What I'm seeing now for him, I don't think he can get it done. 2 wins on the season, and one of those wins coming against the Cleveland Browns with a 5th round quarterback. Are we serious here? If I'm not mistaken, they're one of the only wins this year. The Cleveland Browns and the Atlanta Falcons. Ben Johnson, that's crazy. It's crazy. Spend way too much time on another team. But let's get back to Shedeur Sanders. And I probably didn't spend enough time on that, but I just wanted to make that point. Because the Jets could have had Shedeur Sanders. Jets could have had Shedeur Sanders, just like not Matt Eberflus, but Ben Johnson was able to get with Caleb Williams. Now, I know Ben Johnson didn't draft Caleb Williams, but Ben Johnson is showing you guys why the Detroit Lions offense looked as elite as it did last year. It had some people talking about Jared Goff as the MVP of the league. Whew. If you got that type of talent as a offensive coordinator, then I know you got enough talent to make the Cleveland Browns, the Chicago Bears, under John Fox, 330. 3-13, 5-11. Matt Nagy 12-4. You thought they were gonna do something. Let me see what this team was. Mitchell Trubisky. Mitchell Trubisky goes 12-4, loses in a wild card in a close game against the Eagles. What? And then they go 8-8 the next year, 8-8 again, and they go 6-11. Then it's crazy. It's crazy. Ben Johnson is technically Ben Johnson drafted Caleb Williams. That's what we gonna say. But then you go to the freaking New York Jets. You go to the New York Jets and you look at Justin Fields, you look at Tyrod Taylor and Aaron Glenn on the season. Is only able to win 3 games. 2 less games than Robert Saleh did in his last season there. Robert Saleh won 7 games in back-to-back seasons before winning 4 games in his first season. Goes on to win 7, wins 7 again. You think, oh, the Jets could be on their way. Then he regresses to win 5 games. But that's only because Robert Saleh didn't have a quarterback. Give Robert Saleh a competent quarterback, people. Who did Robert Saleh have as his quarterback? He had an ailing, Achilles tearing Aaron Rodgers, Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian. He was still able to get that team to win 7 games. 7. The year he won 4 games, he had Zach Wilson. Now, did he draft Zach Wilson? Let's see, because Adam Gase was there before. Yes, I think he did. So that's. I don't think he drafted him. I think the owner probably did. They said, "Hey, you got to do what you got to do with Zach Wilson." But I'm telling you this right now, Robert Saleh, along with Shedeur Sanders, could have made some noise, more noise than 3-10 Aaron Glenn right now. I think Aaron Glenn bit off a little bit more than he could chew. But then I'm thinking Ben Johnson looked at the challenge of the Chicago Bears and said, hold up. But you guys got to understand, being an offensive coordinator turning into a head coach is a little bit more of a smooth transition than being a defensive coordinator and turning into a head coach. Unless you go into a team that already has the offense set up. If you don't, Aaron Glenn's scenario is going to happen all the time. Just look at Todd Bowles down there in Tampa. Todd Bowles, if I'm not mistaken, was a defensive coordinator before he took on the head coaching job of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that I am correct on. Now, as a head coach, 8-9, 9-8, 10-7, 7-7. So he hasn't even been able to do what Kevin Stefanski was able to do with Baker Mayfield, and that's win 11 games. Now he did get to 10, but Baker Mayfield's highest win total in the league since he's been in has been with the Cleveland Browns under Kevin Stefanski, 11 wins. Full circle moment for all these situations to say that many of these teams, I don't know why, but why not draft Shedeur Sanders and give him a chance? It can't be worse than Cam Ward, can't be worse than Jackson Dart, can't be worse than Tyler Shaw, can't be worse than Will Howard, who couldn't even beat out Aaron Rodgers. They literally drafted the man and looked for other opportunities to get away from drafting the dude in terms of literally begging Aaron Rodgers out of the retirement. Aaron Rodgers was literally in his vacation home somewhere in the mountains behind some porta potties, chilling. And Will Howard, after coming off a championship with the Ohio State Buckeyes, doing something that Justin Fields couldn't do. And you mean to tell me Aaron Rodgers was looked at as a better option at quarterback than your young Will Howard, that just screams, I need to protect my winning record. Mike Tomlin. The NFL owners, scouts, if you're not the New England Patriots, if you're not the Los Angeles Rams, if you're not the Green Bay Packers, if you're not the Indianapolis Colts, if you're not the Kansas City Chiefs, you had no business passing on Shedeur Sanders. I don't care what y'all want to say. The Denver Broncos got a quarterback. The Seahawks got a quarterback. The Green Bay Packers got a quarterback. The Jacksonville Jaguars got a quarterback. The Chargers got a quarterback. The Bills got a quarterback. The 49ers got a quarterback. The Bears got a... You can name any of the teams, but if it's not the teams that I just named, there was no reason why you should have passed on Shedeur Sanders. No reason. Bring him in as a backup. Let him study the game. Because if your quarterback, and I'm talking about talent, New England, in my opinion, Drake May probably surprised a lot of people, but it is what it is. Coming into this draft, I don't think people understood that Drake May was going to turn into this. But the Patriots for sure saw something in that quarterback scenario that said, you know what, we're going to give this thing a try. We're not. So that's why I named the Patriots. Because evidently they know something about talent that can rattle off 10 straight wins. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. Shedeur Sanders is getting the short end of the stick. But what I need to see from Shedeur now is we're going to finish this thing out, focusing solely on Shedeur. What I need to see from him is some consistency. I'm not seeing consistency from Shedeur Sanders. Now, the last couple of games, you want to talk numbers? Let's talk numbers for Shedeur then. Because I'm not going to sit here and act like LeBron fans, Kobe fans, Ronaldo fans, Jordan fans, or even the number one fan base for delusion, Dak Prescott, in the Cowboy fan base. So delusional. I'm not going to sit here and act like that. So let's talk about it. From the Baltimore game up until now, I don't like the interceptions. Throwing way too many interceptions. You're looking like Justin Fields out there. You can't read defenses. But I'm not going to say, I gotta say it. They're rookie mistakes. Not having first team reps all throughout the off season, from not exit, but from entry interviews. He didn't even have first team reps in the interviews. From the day he was drafted, no first team reps all the way up until November 16, 2025 against the Baltimore Ravens, in which a game they could have won, but they made mistakes because he was getting sacked. He did throw a costly interception, no touchdowns. At this point in time, you have 3 interceptions to 5 touchdowns. That ratio is not good enough, my boy. Because Dylan Gabriel, all the dacking, dunking that he did, because Dak Prescott loved to do that in his first years in the league. Just throw it underneath to the what would you call it? The first grade receiver. Your first grade option. A lot of dinking and dacking and dunking from Dylan Gabriel. So he has 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And in this game, we need to see you get to 7. Because it took 6 games for Dylan Gabriel to get to 7 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. For you, it's going to take 4 games to get to 7 touchdowns. You're going to get to 7 touchdowns in 2 less games than Dylan Gabriel. So, Shedeur Sanders against Baltimore, 4 completions, 16 attempts. And I said this since the first game that I watched Shedeur. Like, why are they running the ball so much? If you're looking for a quarterback, pass the ball. And we're not going to act like Kevin Stefanski didn't have Baker Mayfield, a player that he let pass the ball a lot. And since we need to compare passing, Baker Mayfield with the what you call it, the Cleveland Browns, in that year they won. I want to go to the year they won 11 games. I gotta go to that year because that's the year that I need to see. Okay, that's the year. Okay, how many times did you pass? Offense. I really want to see Baker Mayfield's individual statistics, because that's going to tell me everything I need to know about Kevin Stefanski and him picking and choosing what he's going to do with Dylan versus. So Baker Mayfield year. First year under Kevin Stefanski, they win 11 games. The first time they won double-digit games since the early 2000s. He goes 19 to 34. 34 passing attempts. Very first game with Kevin Stefanski. 30 the next game. 2 straight losses. 28 passing attempts against Arizona. Then they lose. No, that's not the right year. Hold up. That's not the. No. It's the wrong year, man. I need the 11 and 5. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, this is not the year. My bad. Hold on. We gotta. No, actually, that's crazy. They got me on this season. I need the other season. What year was that? You need where they won 11 games. Because I need to make this point. This is a very important point to make. What year was that? Okay, I found it. What is that? September 13th, 2020 against the Baltimore Ravens. 6-38. He got blown off the field. Baker passed 39 times, 23 times, and 1, 2, 3, 4 straight victories. He passed it 23, 30, 37 times before passing only 18 times against Pittsburgh. 28 times, 25 times, 20 times, 22 times, 29 times, 33 times, 47 times against Baltimore. They lost a second time against Baltimore. 32 times, 53 times against the Jets. They lost. How do you lose against the Jets? Passing it 53 times. Only Kevin Stefanski can do that. Okay, that's crazy. I'm not even going to see how much they ran the ball, because if I'm not mistaken, why would you run the ball when you got a quarterback like Baker Mayfield? So, with that being said, they did have Nick Chubb, so I'm pretty sure their running game was elite. And in my opinion, I'm taking Quinshawn Junkins over Nick Chubb night and day because of the injury history. So, y'all saw that. Shedeur Sanders was only able to pass it 16 times, 20 times, and 25 times. Baker Mayfield literally probably averaged 30 passing attempts a game through the course of the season. And that's just me doing some, not even doing quick math, just throwing out a number, a random number. And then Shedeur Sanders is given the opportunity to pass it 42 times. Excruciatingly low completion percentage. But that is a 5th round rookie putting up those numbers. 300 yards. Probably the best game that we've seen a Cleveland quarterback play since Baker Mayfield in the 2020 season. For the
If your team does not have any,
I'm literally telling you that. And did Baker Mayfield ever? And I think, let me see, 364, and people were saying that's the highest a rookie quarterback ever passed for in Cleveland Browns history. But Baker Mayfield, his 11-5 season, never had a game as a starter over 343. So Shedeur Sanders has the highest passing game out of he and Baker Mayfield combined. Or head-to-head, not combined, but head-to-head. I'm looking at the roster, not the roster, but the resume for Baker Mayfield's 11-5 season. Oh my goodness, you crazy.
Baby, don't be slurping when my buddy get out, baby. Just bag up. Like, don't be nut holding. And for all you fuck niggas.
Got a dime in a two-seater. Real life, she fine in a new Beamer. I spin my game in a white Beetle. Can't smoke, but I feel fine. New whip, new key, then she down the ride. Get caught up in the mix when she feeling me. When she not up on my dick, it been killing me. I said when I try, I don't apologize. She on my mind side and I flip the line when I pass by.